Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx, where we talk about all things magical, mystical, spiritual, and empowering. So we finally figured out, how this little introduction goes: magical, spiritual, and empowering. Maybe we'll leave out spiritual. We'll go, it's all metaphysical, it's all awesome stuff. Um, and let's just kind of get into it. So I notice, on the internet, on YouTube and other places, people will take a spiritual concept or metaphysical or scientific concept, and then it will be twisted to basically tell you you're not real, you're insignificant, and isn't this just the same matrix programming that got us into this mess, anyways? So it looks like spirituality, science, and metaphysics, information in general, has been, assimilated. Uh, and you have to filter everything, okay? Does this support life? Is this empowering? Does this information actually make me feel good? If the answer is no, it's been laced, it's contaminated with someone else's ideology, with someone else's agenda, and it's probably not designed to truly benefit you. So I would definitely suggest filtering information, taking what's relevant for you, flushing the rest, leave it. And I would say even that's for my content. I would like to assume, I know what's going on, and I'm definitely into life support, supporting humanity, the underdog. There's those people out there. They just, oh, look at that innocent, helpless, broken, unable individual creature out there, that let's support it. Maybe if we gave it a little bit more love and attention, maybe a little guidance, maybe it can have a fighting chance, okay? So I definitely think I have a tendency for that, which is part of my videos. So in one of my previous videos, we talked about love. I might have deleted that one. Love, as the Matrix presents it, is codependency. It's what can I take from you in order to validate, feel good, and create security for myself. This is what I call inverted love. So, what is the opposite of inverted love? Total empowerment, freedom, personal sovereignty, and obviously connecting with your higher self. When you do that, love actually becomes service. So the highest form of love is service. The inverted version of that is, if I take care of you, you'll take care of me, right? You promised, let's get a wedding ring. Let's get a contract. Let's have expectations. And let's bind that down with restrictions and limitations. So that's the opposite of love. That's inverted love. So there's a lot going on. I can talk about connecting with your angel, which will be the thought form creation of your higher self, or whatever it is, to bring that in. But we can't really escape the chakra system. The chakra system is a roadmap that works really well for understanding your body, your physiology, your energy. The archetypes fit perfectly into the chakras. And so it makes a really good roadmap to navigate through this experience that we're having. So the ruler archetype, you could say, would be our sun. The sun rules our life, night and day, the calendar, growth cycles. It really does a lot. Despite what other people say, it does a lot. And you could say the sun is a reflection of your higher consciousness, your crown chakra. So that which is in total service, that which says yes, that, that higher dimensional, fifth dimensional you, that portal that is your crown chakra, um, that manages all the unseen things. This life-giving, providing source, tirelessly working behind the scenes to help you have an experience, crown chakra level. When you access guides, spiritual mentors, source energy, it's crown chakra, your higher self, the greater you, where you download the knowledge from the universe, where you feel that universal connection and oneness. That's the crown chakra, represented, you could say, by a white sun, a white light. And so, as above, so below, as within, so without, the Hermetic law of, correspondence is right there for you. That would be your individual self. Haven't you noticed that the individual self is constantly attacked, shamed, ridiculed, berated, degraded, sold, discarded, invalidated, ignored, abandoned, mistreated? It all comes down to this attack on the self, this attack on you, coming from all different angles. Haven't you noticed? All structures of information providers, all big institutions, organizations, haven't you noticed? Without you, it doesn't exist. If people didn't vote, would we have a leader? If people didn't show up to class, would we have a teacher? If people didn't buy that product, would they continue making it? If people didn't show up to work, would that establishment still be there? The power of an individual is so great. They don't want you to know this mysterious they called nobody. There's a whole bunch of nobody, whole bunch of nothing. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. When we imagine there's a monster in our room and we find, or we see in the low light, there's a monster in our room, then we flip on the light and it was just the coat hanger. It was just the shadows. It was just the other things coming together, making it seem so believable. We were scared. False evidence appearing real. False truths, So, in the game of smoke and mirrors, in the game of fear and shadows, it might be of crown chakra service, true self-love. How may I serve myself today? By choosing not to believe in fear. And so what do? Onyx, you're telling me that fear is not real? Yeah, I'm actually telling you fear is not real. Well, then what is it? Exactly. Whatever form fear is offering itself to you, It's offering a subscription. You don't have to buy into that subscription, but you can examine it. You can go, okay, what is this? Can I flip on the light? Oh, it was the coat rack with the coat and the hat. That's really what it was, you know? Oh, so there's a lot of misinformation in storytelling, misunderstanding. Everyone's coming from it from their own perspective. Everyone's coming at it from their level of ability to absorb and understand and process that information. So I would like to lean on the positive and assume not everything is truly vicious. Not everything is truly so bent on you, like you're so special, right? Let's bring this all back in. So, okay, all people can do, parents, teachers, clergymen, people of supposed authority can do, is offer you a narrative, scare you. If you don't do this, there's this consequence, of public humiliation, an emotional pain, a psychological injury, confusion, loss of resources. So they really have limited things they can do. Okay? We can hurt you physically. We can, you can only do, you can sit down with a pen and paper and really list out what is really the horrible things that could happen to me. Well, that's not very many. Okay. So probably my life's not in danger. Probably I'm not going to physically be hurt. Probably I'm not going to be, dragged through the city, the town square, by a horse, humiliated, These things probably aren't going to happen. So I can calm down and start looking at it. I can, if I choose to, or I can just move on. But, anyways, I'm saying that your whole life you have been under the spell that adults, other people, somehow have a knowledge, a power, an ability to do better than you, to know better than you, and to make choices better for you. We hire all these people. Where are all these scientists? There's all this information. Scientists did this study. Scientists observed this. Scientists did all this. Who's hiring these scientists? How smart are they actually? And what tools are they actually using? And I wasn't in the room during that test. So I really don't know how you ran that test to come up with those conclusions. I didn't get to really examine your equipment. Maybe the laser beam that you used, its setting was wrong. Maybe if you put a different crystal in it, you would get the results you were looking for. Who's financially backing this supposed science, the hiring and the firing and the business of science altogether? I wasn't part of that process. I didn't look through that telescope out into space. I didn't do that mathematical equation. And maybe there's another mathematical equation that would work out better. So I know I'm not perfect, and I assume other people are humans with the white coats, with the scientific label and the degree. They're not. I know the whole system is kind of not. So, is any of this information valid? Why would I even agree or assume it is? Why would I assume the past is more valid? Why would I assume it? So now you can pretty much go, yeah, maybe we do need to filter in some information. Maybe I can stop taking everything in. Maybe it's not to my benefit. And so maybe I've swallowed a whole bunch of garbage. Humans. They're not the greatest thing in the universe. The universe doesn't revolve around them. The truth doesn't revolve around us, doesn't revolve around humans, doesn't revolve around the old scientific model or even the new one. It's this truth we can't seem to we can't seem to agree on it. So, and this goes for everything, the medical community, the medicine you're taking, the doctor's recommendation, you know. I'm not saying don't go. Don't I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe you need to be more involved in your life, in your choices, in the information coming in, what you choose to believe, what you choose not to believe, what you agree to. And so the big mass assumption is you don't have a choice. And this whole 15 minutes of talking is to bring you to the realization. It seems to me that people are fighting a battle against you, and it's flawed to begin with. There's no way for someone to take your power away, to take your ability to choose away. You get to choose. Are you going to take martial arts and self-defense? You know, are you gonna learn to protect yourself because you live in a very shady part of town? Are you going to tell them when you're gonna be there, call a relative, are you gonna let people know where you're at and where you're going? So are you going to have a reliable routine to protect yourself so when you don't show up, other people are like, wait a minute, so and so is always here at this time, so and so, these are the places. So if something did happen to you, everyone is aware. So did you empower yourself? Did you make choices in advance to mitigate a potential threat and situation so you could feel safe now? Or did you choose to be random? Did you choose to burn bridges with family, friends, coworkers, and loved ones? Did you choose not to be organized in your daily routines to create structure and stability, safety? You know, did you not become a good citizen, which is an epidemic? So then I say the fault is yours. And I could say you created that situation. You created a margin of risk greater than other people's. You set yourself up to be a target. And then when you find yourself in that situation, you're going, oh crap, I guess I should have maintained good relationships with my mom. I guess I should have taken that martial arts class when I had that intuitive feeling to do it, you know. And so you'll know you're responsible as you die. So seems like a dramatic situation, but it's not really. Because I have committed financial suicide before, kind of moving my way out of that. And in those oh shit moments, or in the aftermath, when you have to swallow the hard pill of a hard lesson learned, you go, wow, I really wasn't responsible. And then you get to learn the hard way. You get to learn through the pain. So that's what happens when you don't rule your life. So whatever your situation is, whatever you want, you know, a lot of people think positive, love, high vibration, work through your psychological stuff. I'm like, yes, that's all good. But maybe the first lesson is that solar plex chakra lesson. You have value, you matter, and more importantly, you have the power to make choices. You have, and the universal language is action, okay? So if you want to do rapid transformation, faster than a vision board, faster than a mantra, faster than a ritual, do some actions. See what happens. You'll get what you want. Move forward in the direction you want and take those actions as if you had it. And if you're getting it, the universe understands that. You don't have to visualize. You don't have to change your emotional vibration. You don't have to do a lot of psychological shadow work. Intend. When I go to the grocery store, there's going to be a parking space for me. Here I go. I don't throw on the brakes and go, I wonder. I don't slow down and visualize. I want the one on the left because that's more convenient for me. And then I'll believe that God exists, the universe, and life is good. Don't add all that extra stuff. Just do it. And then there will be your space. So I can literally tell you I did that. My person came into town and I didn't know if they were going to manifest. I didn't know if they were going to show up and hang out with me. I go, if I knew that they were, and I didn't need permission from my environment and others because I'm the ruler and I make my universe work, my personal reality work, and I can create for myself, let's put this into action. Well, I'm just going to clean up my room. So the more doubt I had, I go, well, let me clean up my room better. Well, let me keep cleaning my room really good. Let me make it spectacular. Let me create the space. Let me set the stage for it to happen. And it happened. And it was awesome. Better than expected. So you're a ruler. We might have to make another video on this because we're really going long. Well, we'll see. Okay. So when you were growing up, you missed some training, unfortunately. Your mom wanted to be mom too long. Your dad wanted to be dad too long. They wanted to be the authority of your life. Everyone wanted to stay too long in their power position over you. Everyone wanted to lord over you. Everyone thought it was their right. Well, you're my sister, so I get to bully you. You're my brother, so I get to take out my stress on you. You're my son, so it's my duty to harden you and numb you out so you can face the cold, hard world. So everyone has this agenda. Everyone discounted you, number one. You're just a child. You don't know anything. It's my right to cross your boundaries and act upon you. And they'll use whatever justification story they have, okay? And the story doesn't matter so much. But so your past has a purpose. And it's kind of like a codex to help you understand how you were programmed till now. Your past really isn't there to sympathize and empathize with it. It's a book now, okay? So have you ever got like a cheap book wet? The ink starts bleeding and it gets hard to read. That's what happens when you get attached to your past. That's what happens when you put memories to it. That's what happens when you go to a counselor and you cry about it and you say, here's the book. See, I told you I was messed up and I'll never get better and I need medication. And you're rehashing and you're rehashing. Then the pages get blurred. And then you and the therapist try to translate this blurry writing and you get a different version. So if you spend too much energy hashing over your past, if you spend too much energy looking for clues there, you, the you doing it, you can mess it up. So think of your past as a special record where you probably need to put gloves on, and you need to have special archaeologist tools, archival quality stuff, and you're going to try to preserve and delicately work with this stuff. So you got to treat it with respect, and then, put it away, move on. But basically, here you are now, and you probably have a lot of programming that doesn't serve you, and it's probably very disempowering. And there's a whole bunch of excuses, and there's a whole system here to support you, staying weak, staying broken. And I'm here to slap you across the face, hard, and to tell you, wake up, not to the fifth dimension, wake up, not to God, wake up, not to energy and signs and symbols and synchronicities. No, something way more practical. Guess what? You're alive. Guess what? Your umbilical cord is still not attached to your parent. You're a free person. You're an individual, no matter what the stories and narratives are. And this very fact means nature, the universe, life itself believes in you, knows you have the power to do this on your own full, complete self, you. So you don't have to give your power away. What is this power? It's choice. What is this power? But to exercise your divine right. You have a divine right. You exist. That's divine. That's where this right comes from. No matter if you're chained up in a prison, you still have the right to go, my circumstances don't define me, so I will choose to be happy. Someone could be yelling and screaming in your face. Hopefully it doesn't get to this point. And you have a right to choose how to feel about it. That other person screaming at you is having their experience. You're having your experience. And no matter what goes down, you have a right to choose how you're going to feel about it, how you're going to interpret that situation. How do you see it? Someone might really think it's funny to have someone screaming in their face. They're like, oh my gosh, you are totally possessed. You can't see reality. You think you're talking to me. I'm not even from your country. I don't even understand what you're screaming about. And you're so humorous, and you're sweating, and you're hurting yourself. And I find it funny to be so animated. In my culture, we never get this animated. This is bizarre. I'm staring at you in wonder. You have a right to see reality how you see it. And this is a golden ticket to change your life. Okay? Now, isn't that worth something worth celebrating for? You have the power to choose. Yeah, you can be like, Onyx, well, what happens if I have cancer and I only have 3 more weeks to live and I'm on the deathbed and my body is in pain? Are you saying I have a right to, feel differently about that? Do you think I can fully change the situation? I don't know if you can change that situation, that circumstance. I do not know how powerful you are, how deep you can understand this truth of your divine right, of your authorship, the power that certifies your declarations and your claims to how you live and create. I do not know. That's up to you. I have to give you that question back. But we can say, hey, you're gonna die. you still have a choice to go in peace. You still have a choice to go bitter. You can feel resentful. You can go angry at your body. You can go angry at the world. Or you can go in peace. You can go in wisdom and understanding. You can go with excitement. I look at death as a rebirth, and my body is the womb. And what comes out of the womb, my soul, into the new reality. Haven't you seen a child born? It gets dirty, it gets ugly, it gets painful. And I think it's painful for both participants, the baby and the mother. You know, there's anguish, there's suffering, there's a price to pay. And the reward is they're brought into this dimension. You know? And so don't you think there's a payment to go on the next ride? And it might be some suffering. It might be some letting go. It might be some deep processes. I don't know until I get there. So we can tone it down from extremes. And let's start with something simple. What are you going to have to drink? Do you want tea? Do you want coffee? Do you want water? Do you want juice? Exercise your divine right to choose. Make another choice today. Own the negative choices too. Are you going to pay your bills on time? Are you going to, do what it takes to support yourself? So, just so you know, I have not realized my divine authority and my right, and I haven't realized all these things. And as I realize them, I got some cleanup work to do. So, I'm in the same boat. The grass is not greener. Just because I'm spouting all this information doesn't mean, I have $1 million in the bank yet. Doesn't mean I have that corner office like I envisioned, It doesn't mean I'm having that experience. But do I got some building blocks? Yes. Do we learn from our mistakes? Yes. Are they gifts? Yes. So, very recently, death is the greatest teacher. One step down from death is probably pain and suffering. One step down from pain and suffering is probably psychological fear. The illusion. Look at your confusion, your pain, your suffering. Look at all of these as probably your greatest teachers. So I looked at the good teachers telling me I'm loved.